Yeah, the one guy was on just Lex Friedman.
That guy, he was in here yesterday.
Really, you had him on here?
Brett Johnson.
Yeah, Brett Johnson. Yeah, he was Shadow Crew, man. He started
Shadow Crew. Yeah.
He started Shadow Crew, which eventually went on to be Carter.su was the one I was on, but then there was previous to that there was something called Carter Planet, and then there was Carter.org. But he was the godfather of all of that shit. Like, he started it, and then when Max, what were the guys' names from Kingpin? Max Butler and Christopher Aragon. When those guys went down, it created like a vacuum in the online space, in the marketplace, because there was just, there was nobody else making cards, because the feds had taken down Shadow Crew, they had taken down Carter.org, they took down Max Butler or Christopher Aragon, they took down both of the guys that were selling all the cards in the forums and everything. And what Max Butler did is he did like a hostile takeover of all the forums. He fucking hacked them all, locked out all of the admin, and then he took all of the users and then put them all into one fucking site and sent out emails like, you're all just part of this big community now. He locked out all the admin, told them to go fuck themselves, and that's it. It was like this fucking wild takeover of like all the forums. And then when
the book Kingpin.
Yeah, and then when they went down, it created a vacuum, and then
that's what Kingpin's about.
Yeah. And then I filled that vacuum. Like, when I came in and started selling cards, it was right after all that shit had happened. So there was nobody moving plastic, like,
Oh my God, that's so fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then I came in, and then that was it. Then there was just nobody selling plastic, and that's when it was like.
Yeah, so Brett like laid the foundation for all this.
He was the godfather.
Shadow Crew. That was like that platform that he created was like the trust. Like, he said the reason for that was so all these criminals. He said the reason that these like black hat communities could survive and do so well is because all these criminals could work together and talk to each other and trust each other and learn from each other. And the people who are in the white hat, or the good guys, they didn't do that. They didn't communicate. No,
and there was like, and this is back in the tutorial days. Where you could go and there was just, people would just, tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. And then that's how I learned. You know what I mean? I would sit up, I remember until 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when the sun was coming up, and I'd be downloading all of these tutorials, and I would just be compiling all this data, and then I would sit up for days just studying all these tutorials.
That's fucking wild.
They don't do that anymore.
That's how I learned how to use like Photoshop and how to do like video editing, just watching YouTube tutorials for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, and this is pre-YouTube.
Oh yeah.
YouTube.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, this YouTube's what, 07?
I don't know.
2007.
I think 4 or 5, but it took a while to take off.
Yeah. The first iPhone came out in 2006, and it had YouTube pre-installed on it.
Okay, so yeah. But even then, like I was still doing this like 03, 04.
2005 YouTube came out.
Yeah, wow, so that's right when that was like my heyday. It was like 05 to 09.
iPhone came out in 2006?
I think it was 07.
You sure? I think it was later.
iPhone 1 came out. I think it was 2006.
Was it 6?
06?
Yeah.
06.
Yeah, so this was like, man, this is so, I feel like a dinosaur, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because, now these kids are all on fucking, they got something called Telegram now, and that's like the big marketplace for all the fraudsters because it's all encrypted.
Telegram. See, this is when you say, all of this is in my book, Bent, which you can find.
Available on Amazon.
On Amazon. That's all I'm asking for. Yeah. That's not a lot.
Thanks, Matt.
A shameless plug for Bent.
Nothing wrong with that.
Shameless capitalist.
Yeah.
Forever the capitalist.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Better than the communist. Yeah, dude, he was saying, Brett was telling me that one of the guys that he worked really closely with, a young guy, he said that at one point, because he stepped down from Shadow Crew, another guy took his place. So the guy he really trusted, I forget the fucking guy's name right now.
Brett Johnson was Iceman.
That was his name on there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was Iceman, like the original, like the Iceman that everybody knew. Like, you know what I mean?
I thought
it's fucking crazy.
I thought Butler was what was his name?
Max Butler.
I thought he called himself Iceman.
Was it Max Butler or was it fucking? I'm getting my facts fucked up. I know I'm gonna get crucified in the comment section.
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say no. Somebody was Iceman. Wait, no. Max Butler changed his name. You remember?
Yes.
He actually changed his name to something. Maybe it was Maximum. Or I don't know.
Anyways, he said that one of his guys that he worked really closely with.
I read that book like 3 times in prison. I loved that book.
He said one of the guys he worked really closely with just went to an ATM one day wearing his hoodie, and it was like at a Publix ATM. And he just sat there with his hoodie with a backpack full of blank credit cards, and he was just at the ATM standing there for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just taking out money. And the cop, there's a random cop car These guys were there getting lunch at Publix, and they were sitting there eating their lunch. Like, this guy's been here for 35, 40 minutes.
Fucking
like,
lazy.
Hey,
man.
buddy, what are you doing?
Lazy.
And that's how he got caught. And he got like a
Damn.
I think close to a life sentence. Or
Lazy.
if not
Laziness, man. Fucking complacency and laziness. You don't do that. You spread them out. You know,
Right.
GPS the shit.
Right.
Fucking figure out the ones who have the $100 bills and the high limits on it.
I was
Come on,
losing
man.
my shit when I was talking to him about how he was making his money. Because he was talking about, he did a lot of identity theft. He was making money with tax return fraud. He would spend all day filing 200 tax returns. He would find a list.
Yeah.
All these people that would die, there'd be a registry of all the people that
Oh,
died.
I know.
And if you don't register those people, he finds, like, he goes
Yeah.
online and finds a list of hundreds
Yeah.
of people's social security numbers. You can go and find.
It's the California Death Registry. California is the only state
Yeah.
that leaves the social security numbers. All the rest of the states don't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got it wrong. It was before that. It was the sexual offenders registry.
I was gonna say, like,
You can find
how could you do that with
everything.
the death registry? That they know that the people died. So,
Right.
like,
No,
how
no.
would that?
It was that was part of it. But before that, he got the sexual offenders registry, where you could just go on a website and you could find it, and it was everything from name to social security number, sperm count, the whole deal. And I'm like,
Sperm code, that's important.
That's a very
if Matt
important.
Cox would have been able to find this,
Oh,
you would.
God.
I mean, imagine if you would have been able to get a hold of that and wouldn't have to be like.
And the Mo's usually have good fucking
You wouldn't have to be
Yeah.
finding homeless people.
Yeah, half of them got college educations.
Despite their sexual deviancy,
Yeah.
they're usually fucking, pretty good with their
800
money.
credit score.
You know what I always thought was funny when I was doing Freedom of Information Act on people? Like, I would get stuff from the 80s or 90s, and you'd get a police report, and they would actually have the social security number on it. And they would take, so they would take like that whiteout, the tape, and they would put like tape over it and send it to me. It's like you could just scratch it off and go, oh,
There it
the
is.
social security number is 262, and you read it off.
Yeah.
Now it's all digital, so now when they send it to you, it's got a black strip over it. But back then they were like, oh, look, I better white that out and send it to them. What kind of idiot does that? I mean, I've got probably 4 different people's socias that came to me like that through the mail in prison. It's like,
Nice.
what are you doing?
Thank you.
Like, but when they were handwritten.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
But that's not as good as the Mo's.
You look really buff, Matt. Have you been working out?
It's his diet.
Yeah.
What's your diet? You look
Tell him,
super jacked.
let's talk about Matt's diet
Those
for a
early
second.
morning gym.
Listen, he's so upset. Like, I eat TV dinners, and these
Oh, yeah,
guys
what are
get
they,
so upset. Like,
Matthew's
lean
one of those
cuisines.
people that just
yeah,
doesn't
lean
allow
cuisines,
himself.
I love lean cuisine.
Matthew doesn't allow himself any pleasure in his life.
That's not true. That's not true.
None.
I know a few people like that.
That's not true. I had ice cream last night.
Matt's like one of those people who just abstain from everything. You know what I mean? Like those weird people who are just like I'm gonna have one Coke and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a sip of this and that's gonna be it till till next week or the month or whatever.